Well, let's go there, because you're the director of a heterodox centre and not an orthodox centre. So do you just want to give me what's the difference in your mind between that kind of orthodoxy and mainstream and the heterodox approach?
Thank you. Yes, the term heterodox is not so easy, but it's supposed to represent really an alternative that is much more sturdy and rigorous in terms of thinking, because it's grounded on real life events and, again, structural dimensions of the forces that that pressure capitalism to move in a certain direction. And there's nothing deterministic, because heterodox economics understand there is no dogma of economic science or economic facts that come down from heaven, but it's actually deeply political. So economic relations are social relations, and these social relations by definition can change historically, and can change historically not just to advance the engine of capitalism, which is profit, but something different if we get involved. So Orthodox is the only thing students study at school. So the dominant neoclassical framework is the only thing you get if you take any class as in economics in high school or university usually. And this is a problem because it's represented to you as the only lens through which to look at the world, as if that's it. And of course, this lens makes us passive, makes us justify the current system, because it basically hides rather than explaining. And it's really, really incredible to understand how political economic knowledge is in its function to perpetuate a system that does not work for people nor the climate. It only works for very, very few. And here in the United States, we see it, Oxfam, the Oxfam report right now shows it clearly, the amount of trillions that the wealthy has accumulated in just 1 year, 3 times as much as the previous year, right? And at the same time, 52% of American families can't really meet their basic needs and save for emergencies. So we are a paycheck to paycheck nation, and this can only be challenged with theories that, rather than abstract from reality and have to say, no, we are in this reality. Of course, heterodoxy is very broad, but the idea is that we can bring fresh knowledge out there to the world to use concretely for our sake.
As well as highlighting the differences, there's a lot of work on explaining the differences. And I often think that heterodox economics tries to answer the questions that most people want to be answered when it comes to the economy. And I think Orthodox kind of tries to frame these questions. I always talk about why is our high streets empty? Why is there no shops there anymore? These are questions that people want answered. And you said at the start that there's never been a more important time to look at heterodox economics, and I would absolutely completely agree. So give me your thoughts on the last couple of weeks with the Trump administration. How would you describe that, and what do you think the challenges are?
It's very interesting. Austerity economics, that I kind of have argued for as something that is in the DNA of our capitalist system, has really kind of showed its real face with Trump, because there's no longer any excuse about using austerity to actually resolve financial crisis of moments of economic instability. This is what usually we think, austerity, we need to go back and live within our means because there's a financial issue going on. Trump has showed what austerity is all about. It has nothing to do with paying back our debt and getting back to balanced budgets. It has all to do with a one-sided class war against the people, and he's showing it really well. So again, I want to just stress that Trump is no exception. He's just emphasizing what is a historical trend, and I would say a necessity for capitalism to maintain people impoverished, very vulnerable, and thus in a way disciplined within the capital order. And this is what we're seeing right now, right? This really, really harsh campaign in completely eliminating basically the very meager safety nets that this country still has, right? In terms of federal spending, this country is in deep trouble already. He is defunding. He wants to defund Medicaid, food stamps, all of basically the primary education for the poor is going to go. And of course, Elon Musk is showing how you can do this in a very quick and brutal way. And there is, of course, some opposition from civil society, but they run the game right now. And also they're also attacking labor organizations very brutally. And this is clear. They already fire some from the National Labor Relations Board. They are telling millions of federal workers to stay home and firing them. So there's really a big sense by which they're trying to dismantle. And while they dismantle, they also are shifting resources from the many to the few, of course, through a lot of regressive taxation plans to take away taxes on the wealthy. So again, this is nothing new. This fact that the governments under capitalism operate to discipline workers and take away resources from them in favor of the saving investing elite is what we see all the time. And it's in line with the very big investment in the military industrial complex that Biden was bringing about and that Trump will probably continue. So this is the idea. And that's why we need really now to use knowledge in a way that can empower. Last thing I want to say is we are also opening a minor in heterodox economics and the study of capitalism for the younger students who realize what's happening. And again, going back to our previous point, they are so frustrated by not being able to study something that speaks to them. And so this minor, and hopefully we will build a full-blown academic curriculum with a major and a graduate program, helps, I think, give a sense that actually academics can, rather than conform, be courageous and still find an institution that recognizes the importance of their work.
Yeah, amazing, and we need that bravery now more than ever. Clara, it's a kleptocracy.
Yes, I would say. But again, I think it's really important to, and this is, I think, what heterodox economics and a historical political economy can give you, is really lens that way say, let's not think this is like a moment out of the blue as like, oh my God, this is so bad. We should just go back to our liberal norm that we knew a couple months ago when Biden was in power. That is too easy of an analysis. And what's the media wants you to think, right? All this liberal media now like shooting against Trump, they're doing it in a very myopic and narrow way, right? Saying, oh, it's only Trump who's the problem. No, Trump is just the expression of something much deeper. And that's where we need to be aware that this constant trend of financing asset manager capitalism and military industrial complex and de-financing also environmental projects. I mean, Trump is great at this, but he is really the expression of a system that needs to be changed.
Yeah, I wrote an article last week just saying in the UK we can't focus so much on the personalities and we have to understand the system. And using a lot of what I took from your book, The Capital Order, to try and explain what this austerity framework actually is in this neoliberal system. We need to kind of better understand that.